Hello everybody, it's Henry the Weeder Man here. So I'm in southeast Georgia. It's running about 92 degrees already. It's hot as Hades. So I don't even know if that means anything. I just threw it out there. So what I'm working on is, this is a HT 131 Stihl, and that's the cutting head. So what had happened is, these are the only two screws that hold it onto the pole. So somebody took it and over torqued it, and what they did is they snapped it right here. So now it won't stay tight no matter what you do. This next set of screws doesn't do anything. That's for the case. They don't do any torquing. So all the torquing on the shaft is right here. All you need to do is hand tight until it don't turn, and then give it a little bit, probably another half a turn at the most. This is soft aluminum. It's easy to strip these out too. Cross thread them, strip them out. It's just aluminum. It's nothing fancy. But if you over torque these, this is what will happen. You can see what it did. So now it won't tighten on the shaft at all, and it spins. Now, you can order the part, which I did. This is what I would call the carcass. Right? It's got no bearings, nothing in it. And this ran me about $105 to $110 with shipping. So now I got to take all the parts from here and shift it over to here. That's not counting the $10 or $15 you got to spend on a gasket, because that's for the tank. And I tell you what, if you don't change this gasket out when you do the tank, I guarantee it'll leak out on the next tank. I've never had any luck with it. Right? A lot of torque screws. So let's start taking this apart. First, you got to get this off, and this is counterclockwise. So I have a simple jig with my vise set up, and I'll show you. So what I do with my vise, so this sits flat on the table, is I got my bigger crescent wrench, and I got it locked in my vise. And then I'll bring my crescent wrench and lock that down. Then I got my screwdriver, and you got to look at the direction of it. Like I said, it's counterclockwise. And you just start to, now this gets locked in there pretty good. So what I had to do is, I had a pair of channel locks, and I put a pair of channel locks, and I had to break it free. I just couldn't do it with a screwdriver. I didn't have anything bigger, and I didn't want to break my other tool out where I can slam it and it will, spin it free, because this is, like I said, die cast aluminum. I don't want to break it. All right, so that's the first thing. So now I got that loose. So we'll transfer it over to the new one. We'll lay all my parts out. Got my little tray. Lay all the parts out. Now, next thing is, I have to double nut this, because this screws down into the body. Double knot it, and I've already broke it free, so I know it turns. And then I got to turn this all out. Then I got to take the tensioner out, the oiler plug, take your chain bumpers out, and the rest is pretty simple. So I pretty much got things started where I want them, and so now I'll flip back over. I try to keep these demonstrations very short. I don't like putting a lot of time into it. I don't want you to come in and waste with advertisements or me trying to sell who I am. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to make any money off you. I'm just here to help the guy that's working at home, or the guy that has a business that wants to save money, because the cost of parts and the inflation that we've had for a while has gone so high that you have to. So now I'm going ahead. I've got this double nutted, and I used another crescent wrench. Some people don't like crescent wrenches. I don't have any problem with them. I've used them my whole life, so I don't slip. If I'm going to slip off something that's too tight, then I'll go to a socket. But I don't know. I just like to see what I'm turning off. All right, so I'll take this out, and then when I go to put it back in, I'll do the top one, because it'll draw down on the bottom one, and then I'll have to figure out how to get the other nut off if I jammed it onto the thread. Oh boy. So there's a little bit of Loctite on it, so I'll put some more Loctite on it. This don't look like the proper screw that's in here. Somebody's done a mod on this one. It's not me, but they use a pretty coarse screw on it. I guess it works, as long as it don't breach the case. It might leak a little bit. Come on the back side of this tensioner. Sometimes they come right out. That was easy. There's no grease on it. Put some grease in on that, and there you go. That hole goes into the tank, by the way. So if it's already been pre-drilled and somebody did it, then you just live with it. But if you look on the carcass here, that side, this side right here, that's where it is. That's into the tank. So when you breach that, it's right about it in here. When you breach it, yep, right here. When you breach this, you're breaching the tank. So now you might have I'm sure it's not going to seal. You might have a little residual come on it. Remove the chain bumpers right here, chain guides. They're easy. They just fit in these little grooves. There's a little tab on the back. They got little ridges on it. They do fall out. If they do fall out, just get yourself the new ones. I'm sure going to have a little oil residue. You can wear your gloves, wear your PPE. I'll practice that. I'll tell you to wear it. I've drained this tank for about 3 days. I flipped it upside down into my drain tank. Take that spacer out. That goes over there. And you're going to have stuff back here you might not have got out. Trust me, I washed this like 20 times. Put it on your rag. I like to get as much off as I can. Feels good. Bearing feels good. Really, the rest of it's becoming much easier. So then you take your torques. I put everything in my tray so I don't lose it. I'm bad at losing a screw and I wonder where it went. Just pull it off. Now the tank will come right off. Oops, helps I get the last one out. Oh, nice thing is all the same torques. You don't have to keep swapping your tool. And there's the tank. There it is. Okay. And there's the gasket that's in the tank. And I'll go ahead and clean this face off of the tank. Like I said, you can only wash out so much. I sprayed the dickens out of it. I try to be a very clean mechanic. Let me get my pick real quick. Take your pick. Don't try to cut corners with this gasket. In fact, I got another one after this video I'm working on, the gasket shot. Right. Just take it out. Discard it, throw it away. You don't need to keep it. It's not worth it. You'll be frustrated, you gotta take it back off. Or you're trying to work and its oils are running all over the place. Right. Alright, there you go. The tank clean, got it. So that's what you got. So far, so good. Not much to it. Then you're going to have to remove, there's the oiler in the bottom. You have to pull that out. Once I get the bearings out, go ahead and drop the bearings out. Like I said, you don't want to over torque this. See how that just broke? Just drop right out. Just take all your screws out. Remember when you're putting your screws back in, don't use your impact tool and go overboard, because this is, believe it or not, very soft stuff. You'll pull it right out and you'll be saying bad words, and then I'll hear you all the way over here in Georgia. Okay, and then what I do is I come down here and you pry it apart carefully. It's gonna have grease in it. It's gonna be an ugly mess. And it looks good. And you have to clean it up, and you're gonna put RTV on there, and then there's your bearing assembly. This lifts out, comes out, and then all you do is transfer it to your new piece. And then you got other pieces in here. You're gonna take them out. You got a bigger screwdriver. Screw that out. That's your oiler. And pretty much it. Pretty simple. I'll clean this grease out. I'll put new grease in here. I'll re-gasket all this where it seals. You can tell where it seals. And put new RTV on it. Get it all set to go. And that's pretty much it, folks. Got any questions? Just take it apart carefully. You don't have to get all carried away with it. You don't have to get barbaric and then forget where you do stuff. If you're not sure, take pictures of it, right, to help you reassemble stuff. But you don't want to miss nothing, and pretty much a no-brainer. Oiler will come straight up. As soon as I take the drive gear out, I'll pull that straight out. Then once I do that, this will come out. Well, no, go ahead and do that while we're videotaping. So you take the main drive gear, comes right out. Set that away over here. You can see the RTV still on it. The drive gear that it's driving out, that's right there. You see the RTV hanging on it. That's why I don't get carried away with it. Then you're going to pull your oiler up. The oiler should come right up. It's almost like an M250. It should pop right up. Sometimes you got to get a little barbaric. It should come right out. But I'll keep working on it. Pull the oiler out. Nothing fancy to it. Clean your grease up. A lot of grease. Clean all your pieces out. Clean your top half grease out. You don't want to recycle that. You want to put new grease in it. You want to get all this old stuff out of it. Pull your oiler out. Pull the bottom out. That'll come right out. And pull this. I forget the terminal of this one. Pull this plug out. Right. Take that out. Then you'll transfer it over to your new one. All right. That's pretty much it. And as I'm getting reinstalled, I'll finish taking this apart. And as soon as I get this apart, then I'll transfer over to the new pieces, and I'll show you. All right, Henry, the Weed Your Man out. Everybody have a good weekend. It's Friday, and it's hot as heck down here in Southeast Georgia. All right, have a good night.